Welcome to the Black Dread. I am Billie Jean, the Black Dread.
The last Targaryen?
HBO has pulled a fast one on us. I tried to time this video to coincide with the release of the full trailer to House of the Dragon. I had it on good authority that it was going to be released last night. It was not. HBO was playing games. They're holding on to that trailer for dear life. It's all right. That's fine. We know House of the Dragon is going to be airing sometime in April of this year. We're so excited, so excited. So I decided I want to start doing some character profiles here because a lot of people have been asking me and talking to me about House of the Dragon and the plot. Like, do you have to have watched Game of Thrones, the TV show, or do you have to have read the Song of Ice and Fire series? The answer to that is no. Now, yes, it would be cute if you did. It would be very cute if you did. But you do not have to know the full 1 million pages of text here. All you pretty much have to do is go through Fire and Blood, which we're going to talk about in a minute here. And you don't even have to read the whole thing. Just the second half of the book is the plot of House of the Dragon. Or you can pick up the World Book, which is the history of Westeros. It's a little bit more simplified, and it's just a couple of pages, but it'll give you a broad stroke idea. So you don't have to feel like you're missing out on something or you don't understand the plot and you're going to be totally lost. This story here takes place about 130 years prior to Robert's Rebellion, which was this plot of Game of Thrones. So don't worry about anything. We're going to go over it. All right. So let's start with some character profiles here. So Rhaenyra Targaryen. Who is she? What is she? Why is she? So let's talk about it. So the Targaryen Kings, there were 17 Targaryen Kings in total. And so I'm not going to go over all of them. This jumps off at the 5th Targaryen King. So we have Aegon the Conqueror. We all know that. Maegor, Aenys, his son. Aenys 1. We have Maegor the Cruel, or I like to call him Maegor the Misunderstood. We have Jaehaerys, the old king, who reigned for 50 years. And between Jaehaerys, the 4th king, and Viserys, the 5th king, is where all of this shit starts to come to, a boiling point. So let's do a little bit of history. Jaehaerys was king for about 50 years. Him and his wife, the good queen Allison, they had 1 million children. Their children had 1 million children. Their children's children had 1 million children. So this was a good point in history. We had all the Targaryen heirs we could think of. We had an heir and a spare and a spare and a spare and a spare. We had dragons. They had dozens of dragons. The realm had just seen 50 years of peace. It was very calm and cool. And Jaehaerys is like, all right, I'm getting old now. Let's start talking about the line of succession. This is where all this started here, the question of succession. So Jaehaerys has an oldest son, Aemon. Very easy, right? Okay, Aemon, you're my oldest son, Prince of Dragonstone. Boom, easy, right? But then Aemon dies. So now we're like, okay, well, what should happen? The next son, right? Well, however, it got a little complicated because Aemon had a child. And normally it would go, okay, if it's not my first son, it's the son of my first son before we start going on to the second son. Now, there are some who will argue, well, no, we're not going to go that route. We can just go to the next male son. Because who was Aemon's child? It was a woman named Rhaenys. And she's like, well, I'm Aemon's daughter. Maybe I should sit the throne. Even her mom, Allison, is like, yeah, I've been helping you run the kingdom for all these years. Why, give her the throne. So he's like, I don't really know. Let's have a talk about it. I think this happened in like 92 AC. Let's have a talk about it. They talk about it. And, Rhaenys now, she's married to Corlys Velaryon, the sea snake. And he's like, do you really want to upset me? I got all this money. I got all these ships. Do you really want to upset me? So Jaehaerys is like, let's just talk about it. They decide that Balon, his second son, is going to be the heir. Rhaenys is a little upset. She's like, okay, you guys are jerking me, but whatever, what can I do? Her and her husband get mad and they go up, but they'll get over it. They'll be all right. Jaehaerys is like, y'all be all right. So Balon is the Prince of Dragonstone. Wonderful, very easy. He's got kids. He's brave and strong. Balon the brave, Balon the spring prince. He's wonderful. Except he goes hunting and comes home. It's like, I got a little bit of a stomach ache. Dead in 7 days. So here we go again now. So now we have the heir. The question of succession comes up again because, okay, Rhaenys shows back up. Hey guys, now I'm pregnant. So now I have the grandson of your oldest son in me. Now she, grandson, maybe granddaughter, but she's like, I know this is going to be son. I know it. So we have the grandson right here. This should be the king. This should be the Prince of Dragonstone. And they're like, a baby? When Balon has 2 big, grown, robust, handsome sons in the form of Daemon and Viserys, we already got the heir of Dragonstone. Now, imagine if Balon had taken the throne it would be no question because his son, his first son, would be the king no matter what, the Prince of Dragonstone. However, we have other claimants coming in to say, you know, I want the throne. I have this line here. I have this line here. So he said, oh, well, you know what? I'm out of this. I don't want no more beef. Grand Council of 101 happens. It takes 6 months to get all the lords together from all over the realm. They all convene in Harrenhal, the biggest place for them to go and decide. Let's put an end to this once and for all. Let's set a precedent so we never have to deal with this again. What happens? So they decide once and for all, the throne cannot pass to a woman. It cannot pass through a woman's line. So Rhaenys, you are out because you are a woman, even though you are the child of the first son. And your child is out because it is through the female line. Even if it's a boy or a girl, Laena or Rhaenyra, one of those two was going to come. We didn't know it at the time. She was actually pregnant with a girl, so that would have fucked everything up anyway. However, they said, we're not going to do this. It is going to be the next male heir. It has to be a male heir. Set it in stone, precedent. Beautiful. So we decide that Balon, the second son, his first son will be the king. Now, follow me here. I know this is a lot. I'm going to put a chart up here, but Balon is going to be his child. Viserys will be the Prince of Dragonstone. Beautiful. Okay, we got that settled. Jaehaerys dies, and Viserys I, who Viserys III was named after, you know, good old pro-slavery Viserys III. But anyway, so Jaehaerys dies, and Viserys ascends to the Iron Throne. It's beautiful. He's got all these dragons, 50-year peace, all this money. Everyone loves the Targaryens, all of these dragons. It's wonderful. He gets married to an Arryn girl, and they give birth to a daughter. And then she dies. So here we go again. So now he says, I'm the king and I don't want to hear no crap. I'm going to right now, my daughter is the heir.
Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Now, even though he's got brother, he doesn't like his brother Daemon. He's a little wildcat. Daemon's a little wild. So he's like, you know what? I don't really want him on Iron Throne. Rhaenyra, you are going to be the princess of Dragonstone. You, the realm's delight, who everyone loves her. I will raise you and groom you to be my heir. So Rhaenyra, here she is, young Targaryen woman. She's like, I didn't ask for any of this, but hey, I'm going to be the prince, the queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Why not? So throughout her whole life, everywhere Viserys goes, Rhaenyra goes. He's at a meeting, Rhaenyra's there. He's on the throne, Rhaenyra's there, learning how to rule, learning what this is, learning who these people are. And everyone loves her. She's so sweet and she's the realm's delight, so cute and everything. But they're like, you know, it's time for the king to remarry. Time for the king to remarry. So the king remarries. In comes the beautiful, the most comely woman in the realm, Allison Hightower. That's right. You recognize the name Hightower, right? So Allison Hightower, she shows up. I mean, I was here chilling with Jaehaerys and stuff. I already know everybody. I'm cute. Why don't you marry me? Problem is, her and Rhaenyra kind of got a little bit of beef because she is the same exact age as Rhaenyra, pretty much close. She's more beautiful than Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's the realm's delight, sweet, and everyone loves her. She's got a reputation of being a bit of a hussy. We'll get to that later. But here's Allison Hightower, beautiful. I'm going to get married, and they get married. And what happens to Allison Hightower? Boom. She gives birth to a son, a nice, strong son. And not just one, not just two, but 3 sons. So everyone's looking at Jaehaerys is like, Viserys, they're all looking at him like, well, you got a son now. So you don't have to have Rhaenyra as your heir. You have this son, Aegon II. His name is Aegon. You have a son already. And not only do you have a son, you have this great situation in which your son has a wife already who is his sister, Helaena Targaryen, which, of course, to me, that's the best Targaryen marriage, is sister to brother to sister. It sounds weird. It's medieval as fuck. Whatever. Just go with it. So Aegon is married to Helaena, and they have children. They have Jaehaerys. He has Maelor, and Jaehaerys has a wife already in the form of his twin sister Jaehaera. So we have the line of succession is very well spelled out. We have 5 males. So if the shit happened like where Balon died and Aemon died, if anything happens, we got this covered very easily with lots of men in order. We have Aegon, something happens to him, there's his son, Jaehaerys. Something happens to him, there's his other son, Maelor. Something happens to them, we have Aemon One-Eye, who can get married and have children of his own, and we also have Darren, the Daring. So we got a lot of males here. And the realm is like, hey, Viserys, you gonna change your will or whatever? Because we still got this Rhaenyra chick sitting here running around talking about she's gonna be the queen. Meanwhile, we have all these boys here. Guys, don't you remember the Council of 101? Viserys, this is how you became the king, because technically, it could have been Rhaenyra Velaryon, who is Rhaenys son, who is the grandson of the first son, Aemon. I know this is confusing. They got a lot of the same names. Follow me, please. Trust me. It'll make a lot more sense when you watch it on screen. You see the people and put them with the faces. Because right now you hear Aemon. You think there's so many other Aemons. Who are we talking about? So, you have the Grand Council of 101 set in stone already. Why are you not changing your will? Well, I'm the king and I do whatever I want, and I'm tired of people just pulling me in different directions, and you're telling me one thing and you're telling me one thing, and I love my daughter Rhaenyra and I love Allison, but I love Rhaenyra and I already made my decision. She's the princess of Dragonstone. That is it. So Allison's like, Allison Hightower, his wife now, like, hold up, honey. We have sons of our own. We have sons, we have grandchildren of our own already here who are ready. This man is named Aegon. He's ready to take the throne, even though he's a bit of a drunkard. But, I mean, you know, boys will be boys. So, and Viserys is like, nah, it'll be fine. So, all right. You can start seeing shit going bad now because Rhaenyra's walking around, you know, I'm the heir. And her stepmom, Allison's like, all right. So now they starting to have beef. So Rhaenyra's dressing in red and Allison is dressing in green because those are the colors of House Hightower. So now you can start seeing the division in the realm because some people are walking around wearing green all the time. And some people are walking around wearing red. And everywhere Rhaenyra goes, there's her red faction. And everywhere Allison goes, there's the green faction. So now we already see it bubbling. Now, Viserys, King Viserys, the fat bastard that he is just la 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 la. I don't see anything. I'm going to be totally blind. I don't see anything going on. I don't see the realm splitting in half right before my eyes. The children are fighting each other. You know, people are talking about the father of Rhaenyra's children. Saying, well, her children aren't even legitimate because, you know, Rhaenyra is married to Rhaenyra Velaryon, who was the one who was supposed to be king. They said, okay, Corlys, we're going to throw you a bone. We'll marry you to Rhaenyra. I mean, we'll marry your son to Rhaenyra and just go from there, even though Rhaenyra is kind of, you know, kind of doesn't really like women, whatever. But, you know, Corlys is like, I need one of my children on the Iron Throne. I've done too much for this family. Somebody's going to do something for me. So she's married. Now, Rhaenyra is kind of a slut. So she has these 3 boys who look nothing like a Targaryen. In fact, they look a lot like her bodyguard, this strong guy. In fact, they make jokes about him. They call her children. Oh, look how strong those children are. Those are some strong sons you have. Her sons have brown hair, big giant noses. Oh, no, you can do the Maury Povich say, Maury, look at that son. Look at his nose. He looks just like him. But Allison's children are obviously Targaryens. Silver hair, purple eyes. Aegon, Helena looks exactly like she should. You know, so there's no question here. Aemon one eye, silver long hair. You know, the dragon riders, all of them. So it's kind of like, so if we let Rhaenyra get on the throne, let no bastard sit the Iron Throne. These are not her husband's children. We can't have that. So there's already division. There's division. Nobody wants her children. Nobody wants her. Allison's like, no, you're not going to do this to me. It's a big thing. So now what happens next? The fat bastard king dies. And so everyone's like, you know, the squire or the chamber servant comes running to tell Queen Allison, it's horrible. Viserys has died. I'm going to go ring the bells and alert the town and alert everyone and go send a raven to Dragonstone to have Rhaenyra brought in. And Allison Hightower was like, wait. Now that the husband's dead, she's like, well, wait a minute now. Hold up. I've been trying to talk to this fool for all this time. He's dead now. So she takes the squire. She locks him up. The guy who comes, you know, tell her, she locks him up. She locks Viserys' body in there. For 7 days, his body's in there in the room, stinking and bloated and disgusting. But she's like, gets her little council together, the Green Council. And she's like, okay, guys, okay, the king is dead. No one knows that yet. What are we going to do? Are we really going to let Rhaenyra steal the throne from my legitimate sons? We have the Council of 101. He is the rightful heir. Good old Lyman Beesbury. He stands up and is like, well, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but Rhaenyra is the heir. What are we even talking about? So I'm not going to give away too many spoilers. Something happens to Lionel Beesbury that everyone else is like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Let's go with King Aegon. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and switch alliances right now because we don't want none of that smoke that Lionel Beesbury just got. I mean, it happened very fast. So wouldn't you know it, the next day they send out the ravens, they ring the bells, the king is dead, long live Aegon II, Aegon II. Everybody was like, Aegon II, but we thought for like the last 20 years or something, we were going to have Rhaenyra. So then some people were like, yes, we got the male king. And some of them were like, well, wait, hold up now. I pledge allegiance to Rhaenyra. What are you talking about? So Rhaenyra's on Dragonstone thinking, la, 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 I'm pregnant and everything's good. I'm getting ready to be the queen or whatever. And she gets the raven and like, oh, your dad is dead. Oh, God, that's fucked up. Also, your brother has been crowned king. Oh, my God. She goes into labor. She starts having this fit. She just starts spitting blood and she's viciously angry. Targaryen anger is something you don't want to mess with. So she's like, She calls her own council, Black Council. She gets Daemon, Corlys, Rhaenys, all of these people together. What are we going to do about this? Are we going to let them usurp my throne? Even though Grand Council of 101. But whatever, Rhaenyra and her infinite wisdom decides, I am the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms. And I put my crown on my head. They have all of these alliances start building. Because like I said, this had been happening for the last few years. The realm has been splitting right under the king's eyes. So when the shit hits the fan, she already got her side. Alice has got her side. We have dragons. She has dragons. Okay, we can do this. And what happens? The dance of the dragons. The dragons begin to dance. She sends a raven over there like, hey, get off my throne or suffer the consequences. Aegon said, come see me. And the rest is a bloody, bloody history. And when I say bloody, I mean, this is one of the most bloody, this is going to be a great show, House of the Dragon. If it's going to be anything like the scenes, the behind the scenes that we've been seeing already, it's going to be amazing. This is bloody. Kids die. Children die. The realm, now, normally when you see a battle like in Game of Thrones, we've seen battles, but this one has dragons in it. Not just Daenerys' 3 dragons. I'm talking, we got 15, 20 dragons burning the city to the ground. And I mean, they're tearing King's Landing up. They're tearing Westeros up. The Reach, everywhere you go, it's chaos. And it's not like the Blackfire Rebellion, it's like, you better be on the right side because you could burn easy. You don't know who you're talking to. Who's your king? I don't know. Who are you for? People are scared. They don't even want to say who they are. And all hell breaks loose. Now, I was not there. I was forbidden to take part in the Dance with the Dragons. I was ordered to stay in Valyria because if I was there, I would have flown on my dragon. You know what I would have done? Everyone's getting executed. Heads, spikes, walls. I don't want to hear it. We have the Council of 101. Aegon II is the king. That is it. It got so bad that you had to have, at the end of it, Cregan Stark had to come in. The Lord of Winterfell, he had to come in at the end and be like, all right, I'm going to settle this once and for all here. And within one night, he executed half the people and sent the rest to the wall. It got out of hand, and I'm talking, it spiraled out of hand. It's so controlled. I spiraled out of control so fast. It got so bloody and so deadly that I've never seen anything like that in the history of Westeros. Even the conquest, Aegon's conquest wasn't this bloody and this deadly. And he only had the 3 dragons. One of his dragons was the Black Dread. And he didn't cause as much damage as Rhaenyra and Allison caused. Well, I'm not going to blame Allison, but Rhaenyra, as you can tell, I may not like her too much. Rhaenyra caused all of this. And what happens after the Dance with the Dragon? The Targaryens are withered away and they start to decline all the way up until Robert's Rebellion. And it's over because within another couple of years, there's no more dragons. Everyone's dead. When Jaehaerys was with the king, we had too many Targaryens. We had too many dragons. And now, bone dry. You're the last Targaryen. And all thanks to Rhaenyra. So, I think you would be very interested in House of the Dragon. She's, I wouldn't say Rhaenyra's mad, but she's definitely not. She's definitely not someone who I love. She's one of those, you'll have that relative that you're like, oh, you're having a breakfast or dinner or something, Rhaenyra's cousin Rhaenyra's coming, you're like, oh God, I'm not going. So if I'm anywhere and Rhaenyra's coming, I'm like, oh God, I can't be around her. I don't like her. But she did all of this, and now I'll leave it to you to make up your own mind. Again, like I said, all you have to do is go through the second half of this book here, or the world book, and you will get the full picture. I'm not going to give spoilers. In fact, I don't even really know half the story because this is a textbook. So we don't really have a lot of dialogue. So I'm just waiting to see who said what because Septon Eustace said that. Well, Mushroom said this happened. What really happened? We'll find out. And again, this is not going to be like A Song of Ice and Fire where you see we're missing 2 books. This one here's got a beginning, middle, and end. So you're going to love the story. There's no waiting for George R.R. Martin to decide he's going to give us the Winds of Winter or A Dream of Spring, which is just a dream at this point. You're going to like this one here. So, April on HBO, House of the Dragon. I will be back with another character profile because I want you guys to understand who the main players are in this thing here. There's going to be no Jon Snow. You'll hear names like Lannister, Tarly, and, you know, here's some new names like Beesbury. You'll see a lot more of Hightower in there. So there's going to be some people that you might want to know and you wouldn't have known them if you just watched Game of Thrones or if you, you know, just are familiar with the TV shows. You're not going to see no Jon Snow in there. Don't worry. He's not even born yet. This is 100-something years before that. But trust me, this is a very small part of the text. So it's a good open and closed story that you can get into without having to do 1,000 years of research like I did, you know? So definitely check out House of the Dragon on HBO Max, HBO. You can stream it. And stay tuned with the Black Thread because we're going to be talking about the other, I don't know what you want to call them, the antagonist or the protagonist, but we're going to be talking about some other ones. And Daemon Targaryen is someone you don't want to fuck with. So, I am the Black Thread, and as always, I'm going to leave you with the words of House Targaryen, fire and blood, and remember the Grand Council of 101.